Welcome everyone. Today we have the 2021 Honda Accord LX, that's the base model, and all of the Accords for 2021 have been slightly refreshed, so you've got some revisions and even some updates inside that you might like. But I'm going to take you through this whole car on the exterior, the interior, and we're going to take it for a test drive, and we're going to find out if this is a good value family sedan. Real quick before we get started, my name is Nolan. I do regular reviews like this every single week, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. But also a big thank you to Honda Cars of Rockwall for letting me take this Accord out to show you guys. If you're in the DFW area, please be sure to check them out. I'll put all their information in the description below. All right, let's take a look at these exterior details on this base model LX Accord. So first of all, the Accord is a little bit revised on its styling for year model 2021. It's very subtle, but the grille up front, it's a little bit wider. It is restyled. They say it's a little bit more sophisticated, so let me know what you think of that. And there's a new Sport SE trim level. You'll also notice that Honda sensing radar below is better integrated, and you still get the chrome bar running up on the top like you do with non-sport models. You've got an LED blinker up here, which is nice to see, and you've got LED low beams, but you got halogen high beams, so something to keep in mind with that. But those low beams are supposed to be improved over last year, and this one doesn't have a fog light, but when you get a fog light, those are also different looking than last year. Now this paint color is probably one of my favorite Honda paint colors. It's platinum white pearl. It's a very pretty metallic-y paint. It just shines and glistens really well, and it's got that nice metallic-y flake. So let me know what you think of that. But as far as the design, what do you think? It's still got the same overall design, even though it's a little bit revised. Definitely a low and somewhat sophisticated look, but let me know what you think. And the wheels, here we have 17-inch wheels. They are alloy wheels, no hubcaps here. 17-inch alloy wheels with 225/50 series tires. So even on the base model, we get these body color mirrors, so you've got that same platinum white on the mirror, which is good to see. There's no blind spot indicator in here. The mirror's also not heated for those of you that are northerners, but the door handles are also body color. You've got a little chrome strip up above the windows as well. And for the side profile, what do you think? Now dimensionally, the Accord is 192 inches long and 73 inches wide. The length is about right on par with the rest of the class, but it is a little bit on the wide side, and that shows with the space inside. Now coming to the back, you get a little bit of a fastback design here, definitely different than the previous generation. And with the taillights, you still kind of have this claw taillight design. You've got the incandescent turn signal on this base model. And these are partial LED. You've got some LED light bars integrated in there. And then to the back, no exposed exhaust outlets like you see with the finishers on the other models, but you've got a couple little concealed exhaust pipes. Now for the cargo area, the Accord does not have the smart key system, so there's no touchpad. You have to use the key fob or inside, but this has excellent cargo space, especially for the mid-size class. So you'll be able to tell right away looking in here just how vast and open this is. You've got really good space between here and the wheel well, so there's a lot of space on each side there. There's also a hook for groceries or for a cargo net on both sides of the trunk. And this is not a split fold right here. This is just one big seat back that folds down. So if you wanted to fit just one side of stuff, that's one way that you kind of have to sacrifice with the Accord. And the other thing is more so exposed hinges than you'll see in a lot of vehicles, but there's still a lot of space back here. And underneath of here, you've got a spare tire underneath of that foam right there with the jack. Okay, time to look at the front seats here. So as you'd expect with a base model Accord, you're going to get cloth seats. This is the ivory color. You can get a dark cloth interior as well, but these seats look nice. They have a nice durable feeling cloth. It's not quite as soft as some, but not as firm as some others. And then as far as controls go, you've got manual controls. So you've got manual front to back with a lever in the front. This is your pump action height adjustment. So it's nice that you still get height adjustment and then reclining. The only thing missing here is there's no lumbar support. At least there's no adjustable lumbar support. The seats to me still feel pretty comfortable, but I have not been able to spend a ton of time in here. And headroom overall is good. I can sit without the seat being all the way down or all the way up and still have some headroom here. One thing, at least in the US, these seats will not be heated, and there's no option to get them heated unless you move up in trim level. Now let's climb into the back seat, see how spacious it is, and it is definitely spacious indeed. So you've got the same kind of ivory color, the same cloth seats back here as well, and you've got really good leg room. And then sitting behind myself at 5'9", I've got really good knee space, got pretty good foot space as well, even if that seat's a little lower. And you've got a mat pocket on that side. There is a hump in the middle, and there's no storage bin, or there's no plug-ins or air conditioning vents right here in this base model, but you've got a really deep storage cubby. On the door, as you'd probably expect in the base model, you know, there's hard plastic back here, but you still have soft material and a soft armrest, and there's a decent sized storage cubby and bottle holder. In the middle, you get this fold down armrest that does have some padding and a couple cup holders. And then sitting up tall, I can sit here and just feel my hair touch the top of the roof back here, but I'm not having any problems with that. And overall, this is a really good back seat, especially for just a sedan like mid-size like this. All right, now as we look at the interior and the key fob, first of all, this is not the smart key system. It looks like the smart key fob to where you can just touch the door handle and it opens, but you have to actually unlock it like normal. However, this is not the pop-out key kind or key regular kind. It has a key embedded into it, but it actually has push button start. So for a base model, you might expect a key in ignition, but this is just push button start. Now the steering wheel is it is not leather wrapped on this particular model at least, and neither is the shifter, but it's comfortable to hold on to. It's nice and bulky. It's got some sport grips and no complaints with that. And it's manual tilt and telescoping with plenty of motion for what I've needed to get comfortable. Now on the side, the upper door panel is a softer touch material. The only thing that isn't is right here, but you have a nice trim piece right there. This armrest is actually fairly soft and a good grab handle. The front two windows are automatic one touch, and down here there's a decent amount of storage. Let's check the bottle. So I've got my usual bottle with me, and woo, just push some water out of there. It's a tight fit. And then just to the inside, you've got your trip computer. You can turn on traction control and your Honda sensing stuff with the little circle around the car. And there is some trim that kind of carries out over here. This looks soft, but this is a hard touch material, but it is the base model, so you can't complain or expect too much. And all the buttons on the steering wheel work just fine. Everything's in reach. I kind of like this little toggle right here. It's a little bit different than the Civic where it has like a plastic cover over everything, but everything that you need is on the steering wheel. And then right in front of us, the gauge cluster is fairly large. You kind of have a digital display, but it's not a fully customizable display. Over on the left is where you'll see all the information pop up. So you got trip computer, information, audio, phone, even traffic sign recognition, and you can customize a little bit of settings with everything, but it's just pretty much just inside that little circle over there. So for example, trip computer, and I have not messed with this at all, but you can scroll through that, go back, go to speed and time, just to give you a little bit of what all you can see on this screen. But one of the big changes for the base model is right here. This 8-inch touchscreen is now standard. You don't have this small little non-touch screen anymore. You have this 8-inch touchscreen, and it's got these physical buttons on the sides, which is always good. I like how you have actual buttons, a volume knob, and a tuning knob. The system itself is a little bit slow and outdated, but it's still easy to operate, and you can achieve pretty much everything that you need. And this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard as well, so that's nice to see. And it integrates well into the screen and takes up pretty much the entire section, or you can just hit the home button and get back out of it. Now as far as audio is concerned, this has just a regular 4-speaker system, but check it out. The backup camera is 3 different views, and you have dynamic lines. So when you turn the wheel, you have trajectory. You can have a more narrow view, a wide view, or a straight down look at the bumper view. Then further down, you actually get dual zone climate control standard. Some base models give you just manual controls or single zone, but this is dual zone. So you and your passenger can each have different temperatures. So if you want to be toasty over there and cool over here, you can do that. Otherwise, you can control it manually with the fan speed, where your air is going, and all of that. So I like the actual knobs on here too. They're kind of cool. And then just down from there, this opens up or closes. Inside of here, Way back there, you've got a 12-volt power outlet and 2 USB charging ports, and this has a soft rubber liner in there as well. Sorry, the shade is messing with it, but it's a pretty deep storage cubby. And then back here, you've got this nicer material, unlike the piano black up there. This looks better, doesn't collect as much lint and all of that, but you've got your economy mode, auto stop start button to shut off, an electronic parking brake, and a brake hold button. And the cup holders are nice and large. They fit a lot of different things, no problems with that. And this armrest is actually pretty good size. It's a little on the stiff side, but it still works, and it's pretty long to where you can rest your arm. It does not move forward, but when you lift it up, you've got this movable tray in here. There's another 12-volt power outlet in there, and this is just pretty darn large overall for a car. And then further over, you can see the same kind of trim with the nice ivory looking color over here. And then you've got a regular soft opening glove box. It does not lock though. I wish it had a locker on it. You've got a regular manual flipping rear view mirror. You get sunglass holders up here as well. Just your regular incandescent interior lights, and vanity light and mirror, and the entire visor will slide out. So that's good to see. Now on the base model, there is no moonroof and no automatic dimming rearview mirror, and those are not optional either. You'd have to move up in trim level for that. But let's go ahead and take a peek out the back. Visibility, that fastback design definitely cuts things off a little bit, but not much different than other mainstream cars. Now under the hood of the 2021 Accord, you still get the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, but there are actually some changes with it. So first of all, you've got new updated engine management software, and it's supposed to have a more responsive throttle, a more linear and responsive throttle. We'll talk about that in the test drive. But like I said, the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine that you saw in the last couple years of the Accord, and same with the CR-V and Civic, this gives you 192 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. Both are decent numbers. It's still paired with the CVT transmission, and we'll talk about how it drives in a second. Miles per gallon is pretty good, especially in the city. 30 in the city, 38 on the highway, and 33 combined. And this is front wheel drive. There's no all-wheel drive available on the Accord as of right now. All right, y'all, we are behind the wheel of this Accord LX now, and I just want to give you kind of a point of view drive. I've driven the Accord a few times before, so be sure to check in the description for those other videos. But first impression is that the Accord just feels like a well-balanced type of vehicle to drive, you know, in terms of ride comfort and handling, seating position, all of that. It all just feels pretty good and about as you would expect. Now we'll get on it a little bit here and there, because Honda did say that the engine software is updated and the responsiveness should be a little bit better. Now we're gonna have to get on the brakes right away, but I'll talk about how the CVT feels when we get on it. And the brakes feel good in here. I've got no complaints with them. One thing about the Accord is I have not been able to spend a prolonged period of time, like a week alone, like most of the cars that I get. So I can't really talk too much about that. All right, now as we get going, one thing you'll notice is that with the turbocharged engine, even though it's a small one, not as powerful as some, it still has a punchy feel to it, because you don't have to put the pedal down very much in order to get some power out of it. So I'm gonna get on it a little more here, and then once you get just a little bit of RPMs, it starts to go. And it kind of mimicked some shifts like you'll see with the regular automatic, so that was a little bit interesting. We'll get on it again so you can kind of get a feel for it, but I like the way the Accord handles. And same with the Civic and a lot of Hondas, they just have to they seem to have a nice feel to them without feeling extra fake or extra light or extra heavy. It's a little bit lighter than most, but I like the way that it feels. It feels pretty good and responsive. Now the acceleration's smooth. You definitely kind of have a constant wind up as you'd expect with the CVT, but when you go to get on it, it goes. It's pretty quick and responsive. That's one big thing about the CVT, is they can be very responsive transmissions. And in terms of ride comfort is good. You do feel bumps and you can hear the bumps, but there's nothing that really gets you upset in this cabin. It's not like the kind of bump that's going to make you hate the ride comfort of your car. Like some cars are really stiff going over bumps. Not this Accord. It's not a sport tune suspension, but it's not a lackadaisical type of suspension. But in terms of handling, it'll hold its own in terms of body lean because you've got a low center of gravity with this car, and it just feels nice and planted to the road. And more for you is that you have Honda sensing standards. So you've got the radar cruise control, you've got the lane keeping system, the collision avoidance system, and I haven't been able to do full tests on Honda's system, but driving some Acuras that I've been able to drive for a week, they've been very impressive. And going over some rough pavement there, it does feel a little bit stiff, but like I said, it's not bad at all. And the Accord is just an easy car to live with, easy car to drive. Now I'm going to pull the shifter back into S. So this is sequential. It's going to hold the RPMs a little more like a sport mode and be a little bit more aggressive. And we'll go ahead and get on it. From a start, you don't notice a big difference, but once you're up to speed, it just keeps the RPMs up a little more. And it's still holding the RPMs. And nobody's going to really drive or need or want to drive sporty in an Accord LX, but you kind of can if you want to. All right, so that's going to go ahead and wrap things up on this Accord test drive. Very well balanced, good at ride, good at handling, feels nice, ergonomics are good, everything is in reach, and it's just comfortable. What more can you want? All right, so to wrap things up on this 2021 Honda Accord, first of all, it's very spacious, it's very efficient, especially for its size, and it's very practical. I mean, there's just a lot of goodies with this car that are not feature related. It's just spacious, it's comfortable. There's a lot to like about the way it drives too, even on this base LX. And even though the revisions are mainly mild, except for the new screen on this base model, let me know what you think down below. And is this a good value family sedan? I really think so, especially for a base model, considering everything I just said, space, efficiency, and all of that. But thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the Sport SE, which is new for this year, I got a review of that down below. And from the older from the older models like 2020, 2018, I've got some touring models as well. So be sure to check those out. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you to Honda Cars of Rockwall. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe for more videos. Have a great day.